only 6% of federal government employees show up in person on a full-time basis. So you've got a Senator Joni Ernst, who's a Republican from Iowa, has become part of the Doge Caucus. God, every time that I have to say Doge Caucus, like a part of me dies. A little bit inside.
That's good stuff.
Just dies.
That's good stuff.
So, yeah, anyway, we have 6% of government employees showing up to in-person work for full-time. That's not to say that, like, other people don't come for a hybrid schedule or things like that. But it's leading to, I want to say, 26% or something of occupied government buildings. So anyway, again, mostly being reported on by the right with mostly mixed factuality. I did find, I think for the first time, a high factuality right-leaning article. Most of the time when you see right-leaning articles, it's mixed factuality at best. But this one says high. But we're going to scroll down to a center-leaning article from Straight Arrow News with a high factuality and read that.
All right.
It says, bubble bath on duty. Ernst report details federal employees' abuse of remote work. Just 6% of federal employees work from the office full-time, while about one-third are fully remote. According to a new report from Senator Joni Ernst, Republican from Iowa. The investigation discovered that remote work has resulted in American taxpayers receiving inadequate services, including backlog delays, unanswered phone calls and emails, and no-show appointments. Ernst highlighted one of the significant consequences, calls from veterans' mental health services going unanswered.
Well, okay, but I'm listen. I don't know about you, but it's been kind of like a common thing for a while that when you have to like call in to literally any type of government bureaucracy, it's just a nightmare. It's always a nightmare. Call the DMV, call the VA, call the court, call whatever. It doesn't really matter. I'm not moved by this necessarily. Like, wait. Government bureaucracy is not very efficient. Well, get the hell out of here. You know what we should do? We should defund them so that it'll work even worse.
So if we defund them, they'll be more efficient. That's completely what the point is. I do see some points to this article, though. They go on to talk about how there was a recall on infant formula, and it led to deaths because of how long it took. It took 100 days before the people at the right agency were able to implement the recall correctly.
Sure.
So my point is that there is definitely some room for improvement here. However, is Doge Caucus going to be the ones to implement this? That's a great question, and I guess we're going to see going forward. So this is the kind of article I want to bring to people's attention, because this is the kind of thing that we can go back and look at and say, well, look, you had a plan. This was your plan. This is how you were going to save all this money. Why isn't it benefiting us? If for some reason it doesn't benefit us in the future, because you know what? Maybe they're going to implement it perfectly. Maybe they're going to make all the right cost cuts and make everything run like a smooth and efficient machine.
Well, what else is in that article? Does it talk about like how we've gotten to this point where there's a lot less people like coming into the office? Because I'm kind of curious about that.
That all started with COVID, as far as I know.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. And so perhaps nothing and see, this article goes on to basically just completely rage bait a little bit more, but perhaps nothing sums up remote work better than the infamous selfie of a federal employee jumping on a call in a bubble bath. The employee was a manager at the Department of Veteran Affairs who posted a picture on social media with the caption, "My office for the next few hours."
I don't really have a problem with that as long as they're able to work.
Right, exactly. That was what I was going to say, is that like if the efficiency sitting in their bathtub is no different or even better than the efficiency at the office, then who cares?
Yeah, one might even say that like being in a more relaxed atmosphere will put you in a better mood to be able to service people. Like maybe we should install bathtubs in the office?
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I am completely for that. Now, this is the part that I have a little bit of hope for, I guess, because empty offices are also costing taxpayers money. There isn't a single agency headquartered in Washington that is half full. Rather, the average occupancy is 12%. So 12% of these office buildings that the government owns are occupied, like the rest is just going empty.
Right, 80.
The report states that the government also owns 7,697 vacant buildings and another 2,265 that are partially empty. Maintenance, leases, energy on these buildings is costing more than $15 billion.
Wait. Let me. Okay. Hang on a second. Let me get this straight. All right. So there are thousands and thousands of buildings owned by the government, and they're paying the electricity on this already, right?
Mhm.
And that is waste, and that should be cut. Or, I got an idea.
Turn it into housing.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're going to spend the money, turn
Why-
it into housing.
Why is my tax dollars going to paying the electricity and probably the rent on these buildings when they could be housing, like, I don't know, homeless veterans or just homeless anybody?
Right. I mean, homelessness in Washington, D.C. specifically is a terrible problem. It's really bad there.
Yeah.
And on top of that, the government isn't going to see a return on their investment by trying to sell these buildings off.
No.
Who's going to buy them?
Yeah. For what purpose?
Exactly. Like, if you have occupancy at 12%, like, your problem is probably bigger than just like the bureaucracy of your actual individual agency, and maybe more indicative of like the housing problem or like the office problem where the office building is located. Just my guess.
Okay, I'm going to put a challenge out there. If Elon Musk and his Doge, Department of Government Efficiency or whatever the hell, if he goes and he turns these thousands of buildings into housing for people, I will buy Twitter Premium or whatever the hell it is. I'll buy it for
a whole year.
Nah, 3 months.
3 months?
3 months. I'll buy it for 3 months and actually start using the service again. I will become a true believer that he actually has an idea of what he's doing. If he takes something that is waste, because government waste is a huge problem, and I agree, it's been a problem for decades, and actually does something that helps people with it, I will put my money where my mouth is. I will buy Twitter Premium for 3 months. Like,
sure. I
why
will
not?
I will buy a Twitter Premium account for the show, and I'll pay for a year of it. But that's not. It doesn't matter because this is all hypothetical because it's not going to happen. We know it's not going to happen. They're pointing this out as rage bait, but like I'm pointing this out to say, okay, well, look, here is an example of what they say that they're going to do. Let's hold them accountable.
Agreed.
Okay?
Agreed.
Let's hold them
Absolutely.
accountable and watch and see if anything changes with the occupancy rate of government offices or the in-person versus work-at-home rates or anything like that.
Right.
If it has any kind of difference and if it's actually going to save us money.
Absolutely. I
So.
do one thing, though, just as kind of a little bit of an aside before we wrap up on this. I do legitimately love that we have had a little bit of a labor revolution because of COVID, where people learned that they actually can work from home, that businesses can operate quite well through remote work, and that in some ways, in some studies, some people actually do better work if they're allowed to do it from a place where they actually are more comfortable. That's great. That's absolutely great. The era of having to just be a wage slave should probably be left in the dustpan of history because there are other and better ways to do it. So I think that there's something there, but that's another story for another day.
And if you're going to be, a wage slave, quote unquote, like at least do it, if you can do it in your home where you're comfortable, it's probably a little bit easier pill to swallow. I don't know. So
True.
This is Jeff and Matt. Thanks for watching that video. And if you like our stuff, please be sure to check out this channel for more great content like this. And check us out on Monday, Wednesday, Friday for our live show.
Also, like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon, and we will see you in the future.
Unless this is the future now.